Hello and welcome. Today during a therapy session, a mom asked me, how do I know if my baby is ready for textured purees? Well, one of the first things that you want to think about is how well is your baby taking smooth purees? Of course, no choking, no gagging, no funny faces, no grimacing when you're placing the spoon. And when you're placing the spoon, the baby is opening their mouth wide enough so that you have an exact place to put that spoon in the baby's mouth. You also want to look at what is the tongue doing. You want to make sure the tongue is right where the bottom teeth are. If they don't have teeth yet, it's right where the gums are. So it's in a neutral position like that. If the tongue is pulled backwards, the way that the baby's going to get the baby food, if the tongue is pulled backwards, is they're going to come forward to get the food and they're going to shoot the food out of their mouth. That's called recycling. So when you see people feeding their baby and they're scraping the baby's chin and putting it back in their mouth and scraping the chin, it's because likely the tongue is retracted so that in order to get the food, they're kind of overshooting and pushing the tongue forward, which is then pushing all the purees out of their mouth. So one of the first things you want to make sure before you're advancing textures, one, the baby opens their mouth wide, which is called prehension. So their mouth is open wide so that you have a great spot to place the spoon. The baby's tongue is cupping. It's called central grooving. So when you put the spoon on the baby's tongue, it kind of sinks down a little bit like a down pillow or a memory foam. That's called central grooving. So the tongue is hugging the spoon, and then the baby's top lips are activating and you can pull the spoon straight out and the baby is swallowing. You will see that the baby is not using their bottom lip. If they're sucking that bottom lip in, if they're using their thumb to help, after you put the spoon in, you pull out, they stick their thumb in to help them transport the food, those are things that are kind of red flags. So you need to stay where you are right there and make sure that you continue to use that spoon technique. And if you forget what that's all about, I do have a video on that, so look it up. And make sure that the baby's tongue is transitioning towards more mature patterns. So when you put that spoon in the baby's mouth, look at where that tongue is and look at where the tongue goes when you put the spoon in. So if you put the spoon in and the tongue stays in that neutral position, you press down very gently and you can get the cupping or softening of the tongue. Top lip comes, you pull out, the tongue does not retract, then you might be ready to transition to a little bit more textured foods. The other thing that you want to look for to make sure that they're ready for more textures is what are they doing with their chewing toys? I love things like this that are long and skinny. I mean, this one, obviously, you have to be very closely monitoring. Of course, all of these, it's without saying that you should be very closely monitoring, but this one, of course, in particular, can be quite a choking hazard. But make sure that they are taking these toys, placing it in the back, and chewing it, and then watch what their tongue is doing. If their tongue is following to the side, if the tongue is doing a lateral movement to the side, when that brush is in, that tongue lateralizes to the side while they're chewing on it, they are likely ready and have the skills that they could probably handle more textured purees. So that would be a good time to add that introduction. So let's review. When is a good time for my baby to increase the texture of purees? The timing is probably somewhere between 6 and 8 months of age, but it really is more based on skill than on age. So skill, you want the tongue in a neutral position. The spoon easily goes onto the tongue softens up a little bit with the placement of the spoon, the top lip comes over, and as you're pulling the spoon out, it activates to clean the spoon. The baby is transitioning the puree without needing a thumb, does not pull in lips, top or bottom lips. You don't see cheeks punch in, you don't see any of that. And when they're starting to play with their chewing toys, you're starting to see activation of lateral tongue movements. Those are all things that tell you that your baby is probably ready to advance textures. Go slow and careful, making sure that the baby has a good experience with all the new foods that they're trying, and have fun. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please subscribe, please make a comment, and good luck to you. Thanks and have a great day.